In match problem 7, we're finally ready to take a look at this application that we introduced, looking at the Lorenz curve, calculating the Gini index, and then trying to determine something about our country. In this case, we're given the information on the same country. First information from 2010, and then predicted information in 2025. So in 2010, we're given this expression, this function, f of x equals x to the 2.6. So in this case, this is our Lorenz curve for the year 2010. What we want to do is calculate that area between, but instead of just calculating the area between, we'll multiply that by 2, so we get that Gini index. So we've got a specific formula here. And then we also want to take a look at what's happening in 2025. So now we have a predicted Lorenz curve for the future of this country. So we're going to want to look at this area multiplied by 2. And then what it's asking us to do is, after we find that Gini index, interpret the results. So essentially what we're looking at is this area versus this area. Which one is larger, and what does that mean in terms of what's happening for the future of this country? So for our first graph, for the 2010 data, and this one is 2025. So for our 2010 data, this is going to be 2 times the integral from 0 to 1 of x minus whatever our Lorenz curve is, dx. So that's just the general formula for the Gini index. And in this case, our function is x to the 2.6. So this will be 2 times x squared over 2 minus x to the 3.6 over 3.6. And then we'll be evaluating this from 0 to 1. So this expression evaluated at 0 is just going to be 0. So we really only need to worry about evaluating this at 1, which is going to be 2 times 1/2 minus 1 over 3.6, or approximately 0.4444, depending on how far we round that result. For our second integral, or our second Gini index, it'll be 2 times the integral from 0 to 1 of x minus whatever our Lorenz curve is, dx. In this case, that predicted Lorenz curve is x to the 3.8. So we'll have 2 times x squared over 2 minus x to the 4.8 over 4.8. And then we'll be evaluating that from 0 to 1. So again, x equals 0, that's all just going to 0 out. So what we'll have is 2 times 1/2 minus 1 over 4.8 will give us approximately 0.5833. So the question we're really interested in answering now is what's happening to our country, or at least predicted to be happening to our country in the future. So in 2010, we have a Lorenz curve, or a Gini index, of about 0.44. By 2025, that's expected to increase to about 0.58. So this new value is getting closer to 1. So what we can conclude is that income distribution in this country is becoming increasingly unequal. Because again, as this Gini index gets closer to 1, 1 would represent absolute inequality. So right now we're at some stage, whether we consider this bad, a poor distribution of wealth or a decent distribution of wealth, we're getting to something that's worse. We're getting closer to that value of 1. So income distribution in this country is becoming increasingly unequal.